your creativeness. Oh boy. I got to thinking just before I walked in here about my Uncle Frank. My Uncle Frank worked for Imperial Furniture Company, and he was their paint chemist. And we were out to my Grandma Reed's, and the outhouse needed to be painted. And Uncle Frank had a pot of new type of paint that we were going to use to paint. Of course, I was just a little kid at the time. And I remember my dad and uncles, they started to paint the outhouse. And the paint was too thick. And so, Frank, what do we do? The paint's too thick. He said, oh, go just pee in it. Well, the reason that was worked was because of the chemicals in your urine were just what was needed in that paint in order to thin it out and make it work, and it did, and that's what painted the outhouse. And it all got done. And so what I want to say to you is that Uncle Frank knew the goal of that the outhouse needed painting, and so he came up with the ingredients and the methods to accomplish that goal. And that's pretty much the creativeness that we need to look at in anything that we try to do in life. We have to have a goal. I have a friend, and I say he's a good friend, and he was an ex-college professor. He's now retired. Beverly knows who I'm talking about. And he can never get by all of the things that go wrong or have gone wrong on this earth in anything that is happening or anything that he proposes will happen on this earth. And his only proposal is to get rid of it all. But that doesn't get you anyplace. Not any place at all. You've got to have a goal and say, how am I going to get there? And you may have to try 100 different things in order to do it. I developed a lot of products in my life. And Beverly can tell you how many times maybe that we both stood there at the kitchen sink and tried this and tried that and tried something else. And finally we'd find something that would work. And it was real satisfying, but you had the goal to help somebody with a product that had to work. One of which was, again, an item for painting, and it was a company over in Montague that was a manufacturing company. There was oily residues, oil, just vaporized oil all over the place, and they wanted to keep some paint on the wall. So that oil kept peeling the paint off the walls. So came up with a material that we figured would help keep the paint on the wall, and this was for late 1980s, was it, Bev? Yeah, late 1980s. And I never heard what the results of that was until a couple of years ago, and ran into a fella and got to talking, and he turned out to be the superintendent of maintenance at that company, and I said, well, I remember I made some material to clean your walls with before you put paint on. I said, never did know how that worked. He said, well, it worked pretty good. He says, the paint's still on the wall. So the idea is that you get an idea, you get a goal in mind, and you look at all of the different aspects, listen to a higher voice, because I'm not that smart. And if you hear a little bit of what is said, why you can be successful. I wrote a couple little things down here, and a couple of you wrote it or read it, but I said Jesus' teachings was how to live. It didn't say, as I perceive many Christian faiths teach, that turn your life over to Jesus and you'll be all fine. Well, I've never quite believed that. I've always thought that he taught me how to live. And Hamid Bey, I've also, I believe, taught us how to live. No one can live your life for you. So that you need to accept the responsibilities of living your life and making your own decisions. And where do you want to go from there? And you need those goals that I just talked about earlier. You need to set some of those goals and then have faith that you'll be able to get there. And listen to all of the different helpers that we have. And, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to set up a new dance studio and have it work? And have people come and to participate and what have you. And so many other things. How am I going to have a radio program that people want to listen to? We all have had different things that how do I play my music so that people enjoy it and want me to play them some more? And those are goals. And we have to set those kind of goals in order to get there. Because otherwise we have no place to go. Everything is willy-nilly. Everything is try this, try that, try something else, and nobody's going to be happy. And so we have to, and as we set those goals, we anticipate outcomes, and we anticipate positive outcomes. And if you anticipate a negative outcome, that'll happen too. So you got to look at those things. And that's basically what I wanted to say today. I know it didn't take very long, but I hope I've given you something to think about, because I think it's very, very important. And it directs us as to where we want to go in life and gives us the means to get there. So, thank you.